A viewer on this channel owns a $10,000 Alembic. He told me it sounds incredible. He also told me that at 11 pounds it stays at home, and the $200 bass from the 80s goes to the gig instead. Another one wrote, "I wish I was 25 years younger, because that weight is a killer." A third said he used an Ampeg with a 4x10 cabinet for years, got older, and the cabinet simply got too heavy for him. A fourth described his bass as so head-heavy that he seldom uses it. Across the comments on this channel, weight comes up more often than pickups, more often than wood, and more often than almost any tone question, and it is the one thing that almost no manufacturer prints on the spec sheet. So this video is about the number nobody publishes, what a bass actually weighs, why two identical instruments can differ by 2 pounds, why neck dive is a completely separate problem that people constantly confuse with weight, and 12 instruments that solve it, plus the one buying trick that costs nothing and that almost nobody uses. Nobody is paying for this video. Every topic on this channel comes out of your comments, and this one came from about 15 of you. First, the thing that surprises people. Weight is not a property of the model. It is a property of the individual instrument. Two Fender Precisions, same year, same factory, same finish, can differ by 2 pounds or more. A jazz bass typically lands somewhere between 8 and 9.5 pounds, but light examples come in around 8, and heavy ones reach 10, 11, and in documented cases, 12.5. That is not a manufacturing fault. Wood is a natural material, and body blanks vary in density. Two pieces of ash cut from different trees are simply not the same weight, which means something important. When somebody online tells you that a particular model is heavy, they are telling you about their instrument, not about yours. And when a shop ships you one sight unseen, you are being handed a random draw from that spread. So here is the trick, and it is free. Some retailers publish the actual measured weight of the actual instrument in their warehouse, serial number by serial number. One of you did exactly this. He found the listing that showed weights, picked the lightest one available at 8 pounds 11 ounces, and it arrived set up properly. Same model, same price, better instrument for his shoulder, because he read a number that most buyers never look for. If a listing does not show a weight, ask. A shop that will not weigh an instrument before shipping it is telling you something about the shop. Now the second problem, and this is the one people get wrong constantly, neck dive is not the same thing as weight. Neck dive is balance. It happens when the mass at the headstock end outweighs what the body can hold up, and the neck swings toward the floor whenever you take your hand off it. A heavy bass can balance perfectly. A light bass can dive horribly. In fact, light bodies make diving more likely, not less, because there is less mass at the back end to act as a counterweight. That is why some short scale and offset instruments dive despite being easy to carry. 3 things cause it. Big, heavy tuning machines at the far end of a long lever, a body that is small or thin or made of light wood, and a strap button placed too far toward the neck, which shortens the lever on the wrong side. And the fixes are real. Lighter tuners, and this is the single most effective change because you are removing weight at the very end of the lever where it counts most. Moving the strap button back toward the horn on instruments where that is possible. A wide suede strap, which does not fix the balance, but does stop the whole thing sliding. And on some instruments, simply a heavier bridge. None of that is expensive. What is expensive is buying an instrument you never play. So, 12 that solve it from lightest up. Number 1, the Höfner Shorty, around 5 pounds, and it is a real instrument rather than a toy. This is the lightest thing on this list by a clear margin. Number 2, the Ibanez Mikro, model GSRM20, at around $220 and about 6.9 pounds. In multiple published roundups, it comes out as the lightest conventional bass tested. Number 3, the Squier Sonic Bronco, around $230, 30-inch scale, and reported weights land roughly between 6 and 8 pounds, which, note, is itself a 2-pound spread on a single model. The point of this whole video in one product. Number 4, the Ibanez Talman TMB30, around $220. Short scale, offset body. One caution, and it belongs here rather than in the flaws section. This shape is a known neck diver. Light to carry, awkward on a strap. Number 5, the Höfner Ignition Club bass, around $500, about 7 pounds. Hollow body construction, which is where a lot of the weight goes. Number 6, the Sterling by Music Man StingRay short scale, around $400, listed at about 7.5 pounds on a lightweight Nieto body. Owner reports range from 6 pounds 11 ounces to 8.2, which again tells you to buy the one you can weigh. Number 7, the Fender Aerodyne Jazz, chambered body, and it lands around 7 pounds against roughly 10 for a standard Jazz. Mostly a used market proposition now and worth watching for. Number 8, the Ibanez SR Standard series from around $350. Full scale, full sound, and typically 8 to 9 pounds because of a small thin body. This is the honest answer for someone who does not want a short scale. Number 9, headless instruments as a category. Most sit between 3.5 and 8 pounds, and removing the headstock removes the neck dive problem at the source rather than compensating for it. Number 10, the Ibanez EHB headless series specifically. The EHB 1000 and 1500 are the ones people actually gig, and the 1500 sits around $1,100. Number 11, any chambered or semi-hollow bass. Ibanez Bass Workshop, various Gretsch models, hollow bodies generally. You lose some low-end tightness and you gain multiple pounds off your shoulder. And number 12, the real answer for most people, the used market, bought by listed weight. Not by model. Every one of these instruments exists secondhand. And secondhand listings from serious shops usually include a weight because the instrument is physically in front of them. Now the honest part, because there are 4 things this video should not pretend away. The first, light does not mean better. Body mass contributes to sustain and to low-end response, and there are players who genuinely prefer the sound of a heavy instrument. If you have never had a shoulder problem, weight is a comfort question, not a quality question. The second, short scale is not a free lunch. 30-inch scale changes string tension and it changes the tone. Many people love it. Some find it floppy. Try before you commit, particularly if you play in a lower tuning. The third, chambered and hollow bodies can feed back at volume, and they behave differently in front of an amp than a solid body does. And the fourth, which is the one I would most like people to take seriously, no strap, no setup, and no upgrade fixes a genuinely unsuitable instrument. If a bass hurts to play after 20 minutes, that is information. It is not something to push through. 3 questions before you buy. Do you actually know what your current bass weighs? Most people have never put one on a scale, and a bathroom scale plus holding it works fine. You cannot fix a number you have not measured. Is your problem weight or is it balance? They feel similar on a strap, and they have completely different solutions. Let go of the neck with the bass strapped on. If it swings down, that is dive, and lighter tuners will do more for you than a lighter bass. And is this instrument going to leave the house? Because that is the only test that matters. A bass you love and never carry is a decoration. Here is the honest verdict. The bass industry spent 70 years optimizing for tone, and almost none of that effort on the thing that decides whether a 55-year-old still plays a 2-hour gig. Weight is not a beginner's concern, and it is not a weakness. It is the spec that quietly decides which of your instruments you actually use, and it is the easiest one to check before you spend anything. Tell me in the comments what your main bass weighs and whether you have ever actually measured it. I suspect the answers are going to be higher than people expect. Subscribe for honest, no-hype truth about bass gear.